I've been hired. Dawson's asked for a little walk around of the cabin. I'm gonna try to explain why things were done certain ways and how it held up through the winter, and just warming up here by the fire still. It's nice. Much needed this morning. So, this is it. It was a nice shock factor rolling up here yesterday to see this, and it's been 8 months since we were here, so it's a bit of a proud moment for us to see what we built last year. So we'll start from the ground up. Foundation. So we did not do your proper below the frost line footers. Typically what you'd want to do is go down at least 4 feet up here, get below the frost line to prevent heaving. We didn't do that for a couple different reasons. One, it would have been very difficult to do based on all the rock that's around here. As you can see, like that's bedrock. That spreads out all through the front. The 3 front footers are sitting on that rock as well. So there's no dig in there, no matter what you do. Now, these aren't in the ground. Like the bottom of the footer is right there. So in my head, my theory is, and I don't know if this is correct or not, but you can't frost heave something out of the ground if it's not in the ground. So these are all floating on the surface essentially. And so yeah, they're gonna move around. When it freezes, it might push up a bit, but they'll settle back down once it thaws out. So that's the theory. So yeah, it would have been very difficult to dig deeper. It would have taken much more materials, which it was already a big task. I think we brought in something like 4,000 pounds worth of Quikrete and block. So it was a bit of a task, and this is what we opted to do, and it held up good. Everything looks straight. I mean, it's only been 1 winter, so the true test will be, 5 years from now, but these back 3 are a bit deeper into the ground. So if anything, these are the ones I'm worried about, but we'll see. So each one's a minimum of 4 inches thick. Like that one's only 4 inches, but these ones back here are like 8 to 10 inches thick. They go deeper. There's rebar in the footer, and then there's also rebar that we pushed through the block into the footer when it was wet, and then filled all the block with concrete. So it's a solid piece, all of them. And you can notice that these ones are different. So there's 6 nice big blocks in the front, and then this one's all skinny, and then it goes back to nice and wide. And that's just because we ran out of material. I was not expecting this much of a grade change from back to front. So I wasn't planning on going 3 high in the front. So we had to improvise. So that still right there is more than strong enough. This is huge overkill, but it looks really good, and it's super strong, and I actually really like how tall it is. When you're sitting up on the porch, you're elevated. It's better for the view. So it worked out good. So same with these ones. These are all full. All blocks are full of concrete, rebar all the way up through them. Each block is glued together with PL. So very strong. So the only concern really is the movement from them, from the frost heaving. But so far so good. Okay, so next up, on top of the foundation, we have 8x8 beams that we harvested ourselves. We harvested them, we milled them. These are a super heavy duty beam. 8x8 is probably overkill, but why not do it, you know, as best we can, right? So yeah, 8x8 beams. I think they're each about 10 feet long. And so we got our joints on each footer. As you can see, there's full load bearing on this beam and that beam. These joints were a lap joint with a big carriage bolt through the center. So that just kind of holds them, ties them together, stop twisting. Just kind of tries to make them one piece. So there's 3 rows of those beams. You can see underneath. Okay, and then we attach those to the footers. Just some cheap little L brackets. This isn't really ideal. I mean, it serves its purpose. It stops them from walking or sliding side to side. It holds them in place. Provides some lift resistance. Not that you'd ever need it, I don't think, but the idea behind these was kind of, it's easy to remove them and adjust. So if we do see some movement in these footings and we need to say this one settles and now this corner of the cabin's lower, we can quickly undo these, jack this beam up and shim underneath it, and it allows us to forever be able to adjust it. So those are Tapconned into the block, screwed into the beam. And there's one on each side of every joint. We did burn them too. That's, most people probably know, that's just, it resists bugs and those boring beetles, and it protects them from moisture too and rot. It also looks nice. Okay, on to the next. What were you saying about twisting?
No, I'm looking around. We're just doing an analysis kind of on how everything settled with what we used. Some green lumber, some half-dried stuff, some store-bought, and then some really wet, fresh, freshly milled beam. But the way this is constructed and the style we kind of went with, everything is pretty well under load, except I can see maybe some of these horizontals having the opportunity to twist because they're not under extreme load, but they are being pinched at both ends. Like I see in this joint here where it's slightly maybe rotated a bit, a little bit of a twist in that, but other than that, everything stayed.
So the thing is, like, some people say you shouldn't build with green lumber, but it's like, if, especially these ones down here, if we milled those when they're green and then just stored them, they're for sure gonna twist.
Yeah, because there's no weight on them.
There's nothing holding them in place. So if we mill them, they're green, and then put a bunch of weight on them and screw them to the block, they're less likely to twist, right? So, and everything looks really good as far as the eye can tell, at least. I mean,
because like you are going to get your timber shrinking and drying at different rates, but if you use it right away and you load it with a bunch of weight, because we did let them sit for 3 weeks.
These bottom beams?
Yeah, before we put the floor on.
Because that was our first trip last year. We did the foundation and these beams, and then it sat here, and they weren't screwed down. But obviously, they're not fully dried at that point.
Right.
But
and some of those were like half dry. They've been drying for a year.
Some of them, yeah.
And some were fresh. So the joints still look good though.
Yeah.
We'd use through bolts.
Yeah, everything's sitting flat still. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention too, we've got sill gasket under these to keep the wood off the concrete. The concrete will hold moisture. So that separation with the foam is important. So the floor system, the entire floor system was purchased. We got a 2x12 rim joist and 2x10, yeah, 2x10 floor joist. Everything was purchased for that. The deck boards, the OSB floor, very simple. Everything's full load bearing, sitting on top, not using any fasteners for any type of load support, which is efficient and important. You know, sometimes people will butt your joist up against your rim and you have to use hangers and all that junk. So that eliminated some cost and it's easier to do. So I thought that was a no-brainer. You can see everything's sitting on top. So all these fasteners, specifically in the end rim joist, all they're doing is just holding everything tight together. All the load is wood to wood.
It looks like we have some timber locks in here.
Yeah, so then the post, same thing. This post runs all the way through the floor system and is sitting on this beam. So from your roof, ridge beam, or not ridge beam, but rafter, all the way down, straight load bearing all the way into the ground. There's no fasteners in between, nothing. So all the fasteners are just holding stuff in place. All the load is just wood to wood, which is important. Yeah, all these posts look good too. I don't see any crazy.
And it made it easier to kind of install too, because when we built the floor system, we were able to drop the post into the corner, drive a couple screws in, level it,
right,
and then run our bracing down temporarily to hold it level.
Yeah. Right. And I think I saw a comment saying, why didn't you do the flooring first? Like, because we were setting posts, you know,
Before the
walking on
decking.
joist.
Yeah.
And that was so that we could set these through the floor directly on the beams. And it's just super strong. Like, if you think about the load, I mean, what's going to give in that?